Welcome the students of SC Civil for the subject Concrete Technology, Unit 5, Concreting Equipments, Techniques and Special Concretes. For this we will use the reference books M.A. Shetty, Concrete Technology Theory and Practice, M.L. Gambhir, Concrete Technology Theory and Practice, A.M. Nevle, Properties of Concrete. We will see now the course objectives. With the successful completion of the course, students should have the capability to know the properties of various ingredients of concrete and concept of mixed design, to learn the behavior and properties of concrete in fresh state and hardened state. Third course objective is to understand special concrete and their applications. Fourth course objective is to understand the durability aspects and preventive measures to enhance the life of concrete. Now, course outcomes. On successful completion of this course, student will be able to select the various ingredients of concrete and its suitable proportion to achieve desired strength. Second course outcome, able to check the properties of concrete in fresh state and hardened state. Third course outcome is get acquainted to concreting equipments, techniques and different types of special concrete. Fourth course outcome is able to predict deteriorations in concrete and get acquainted to various repairing methods and techniques. The syllabus of Unit 5, Concreting Equipment, Techniques and Special Concretes, which includes Part A, which has concreting equipments and techniques, batching plant, concrete mixers, hauling pumps, concrete vibrators and compaction equipments, special concreting techniques, ready mix concrete, underwater concreting, roller compacted concrete, cold and hot weather concreting. It also includes Part B, special concretes, lightweight concrete and its types, foam concrete, no fine concrete, self compacting concrete, high density concrete, fiber reinforced concrete, geopolymer concrete and ferrocement technique. Now we will see Part B, special concrete. In that, high density concrete, fiber reinforced concrete, geopolymer concrete and ferrocement technique. First we will see the high density concrete. The concrete is generally classified as normal strength concrete NSC, high strength concrete HSC and ultra high strength concrete UHSC. There are no clear-cut boundaries for the above classification. Indian standard recommended methods of mixed design denotes the boundary at 35 megapascal or Newton per millimeter square between NSC, that is normal strength concrete, and HSC, that is high strength concrete. They did not talk about UHC, that is ultra high strength concrete. But elsewhere in the international forum, about 30 years ago, the high strength label was applied to concrete having the strength above 40 megapascal or 40 Newton per millimeter square. More recently, the threshold rose to 50 megapascal to 60 megapascal. The advent of pre-stressed concrete technology techniques has given impetus for making concrete for higher strength. Concrete of strength varying from 45 megapascal to 60 megapascal has been used in high-rise buildings at Mumbai, Delhi and other metropolitan cities. Similarly, high-strength concrete was employed in bridges and flyovers. Presently, year 2000 in India, concrete of strength 75 megapascal is being used for the first time in one of the flyovers at Mumbai. Other notable example of using high strength concrete in India is in the construction of containment dome at Kaiga Power Project. They have used high performance concrete of strength 60 megapascal with silica fume as one of the constituents. There are special methods of making high strength concrete. They are given below. First is seeding, second is revibration, third is high speed slurry mixing, fourth is use of admixtures, fifth is inhibition of crack, sixth is sulfur integration, seventh is use of simultaneous aggregates. Now first we will see the seeding. This involves adding a small percentage of finely ground, fully hydrated Portland cement to the fresh concrete mix. The mechanism by which this is supposed to aid strength development is difficult to explain. This method may not hold much promise. So we have seen the seeding. Now we will see the revibration. Concrete undergoes plastic shrinkage. Mixing water creates continuous capillary channels, bleeding, and water accumulates at some selected places. All these reduce the strength of concrete. Controlled revibration removes all these defects and increases the strength of concrete. So we have seen the second, revibration. Now we will see the third, high speed slurry mixing. This process involves the advanced preparation of cement water mixture, which is then blended with aggregate to produce concrete. Higher compressive strength obtained is attributed to more efficient hydration of cement particles and water achieved in the rigorous blending of cement paste. So we have seen the third, the high speed slurry mixing. Now we will see the fourth, use of admixture. So use of admixtures. Use of water reducing agents are known to produce increased compressive strength. So we have seen the fourth, use of admixtures. Now we will see the fifth, inhibition of cracks. Concrete fails by the formation and propagation of cracks. If the propagation of crack is immediate, the strength will be higher. Replacement of 2% to 3% of fine aggregate by polyethylene and polystyrene, litigious 0.025 mm thick and 3 mm to 4 mm in diameter results in higher strength. They appear to act as crack arresters without necessitating extra water for workability. Concrete cubes made in this way have yielded strength up to 105 megapascal. So we have seen the fifth, inhibition of cracks. Now we will see the sixth, sulfur integration. The sulfur integration, satisfactory high strength concrete have been produced by integrating low strength porous concrete by sulfur. The process consists of moist curing the fresh concrete specimen for 24 hours, drying them at 120 degrees Celsius for 24 hours, immersing the specimen in molten sulfur under vacuum for 2 hours, and then releasing the vacuum and soaking them for an additional half hour for further infiltration of sulfur. The sulfur infiltrated concrete has given strength up to 58 megapascal. So we have seen the sixth, the sulfur integration. Now we will see the seventh, use of simultaneous aggregates. It has been found out that use of simultaneous aggregates have yielded a high strength. Cement fondue is kind of clinker. This glassy clinker when finely ground results in a kind of cement. When coarsely crushed, it makes a kind of aggregate known as alag. Using alag as aggregate, strength up to 125 megapascal has been obtained with water cement ratio of 0.32. So we have seen the seventh use of simultaneous aggregates. So we have seen for high density concrete there are special methods of making high strength concrete. They are given below. We have seen the first, seeding, second, revibration, third, high speed slurry mixing, fourth, use of admixtures, fifth, inhibition of crack, sixth, sulfur integration, and seventh, use of simultaneous aggregates. So we have seen the high density concrete. Now we will see the fiber reinforced concrete. Plain concrete possesses a very low tensile strength, limited ductility and little resistance to cracking. Internal micro cracks are inherently present in the concrete and its poor tensile strength is due to the propagation of such micro cracks, eventually leading to brittle fracture of the concrete. In the past, attempts have been made to impart improvement in tensile properties of concrete members by way of using conventional reinforced steel bars and also by applying restraining techniques. Although both these methods provide tensile strength to the concrete members, they however do not increase the inherent tensile strength of concrete itself. In plain concrete and similar brittle materials, structural cracks, that is micro cracks, develop even before loading, particularly due to drying shrinkage or other causes of volume change. The width of these initial cracks seldom exceeds a few microns, but their other two dimensions may be of higher magnitude. When loaded, the micro cracks propagate and open up, and owing to the effect of stress concentration, additional cracks form in places of minor defects. The structural cracks proceed slowly or by teeny jumps because they are retarded by various obstacles, changes of direction in bypassing the more resistant grains in matrix. The development of such micro cracks is the main cause of inelastic deformation in concrete. It has been recognized that the addition of small, closely spaced and uniformly dispersed fiber to concrete would act as crack arresters and would substantially improve its static and dynamic properties. This type of concrete is known as fiber reinforced concrete. Fiber reinforced concrete can be defined as a composite material consisting of mixtures of cement, mortar or concrete and discontinuous, discrete, uniformly dispersed suitable fibers. Continuous meshes, woven fabrics and long wires or rods are not considered to be discrete fibers. Now we will see in fiber reinforced concrete fibers used. Although every type of fiber has been tried out in cement and concrete, not all of them can be effectively and economically used. Each type of fiber has its characteristic properties and limitations. Some of the fibers that could be used are steel fibers, polypropylene, nylons, asbestos, coir, glass and carbon. Fiber is a small piece of reinforcing material possessing certain characteristic properties. They can be circular or flat. The fiber is often described by a convenient parameter called as aspect ratio. The aspect ratio of the fiber is the ratio of its length to its diameter. Typical aspect ratio ranges from 30 to 150. Steel fiber is one of the most commonly used fiber. Generally, round fibers are used. The diameter may vary from 0.25 mm to 0.75 mm. The steel fiber is likely to get rusted and lose some of its strength. But investigations have shown that the rusting of the fibers takes place only at the surface. Use of steel fiber makes significant improvement in flexural, impact and fatigue strength of concrete. It has been extensively used in various types of structures, particularly for overlays of roads, airfield pavements and bridge decks. Thin shells and plates have also been constructed using steel fibers. Polypropylene and nylon fibers are found to be suitable to increase the impact strength. They possess very high tensile strength, but their low modulus of elasticity and higher elongation do not contribute to the flexural strength. Use of steel fiber makes significant improvement in flexural, impact and fatigue strength of concrete. It has been extensively used in various types of structures, particularly for overlays of roads, airfield pavements and bridge decks. Thin shells and plates have also been constructed using steel fibers. Asbestos is a mineral fiber and has proved to be most successful of all fibers, and it can be mixed with Portland cement. Tensile strength of asbestos varies between 560 Newton per millimeter square to 980 Newton per millimeter square or megapascal. The composite product called asbestos cement has considerably higher flexural strength than the Portland cement paste. For unimportant fiber concrete, organic fibers like coir, jute, cane splits are also used. Glass fiber is a recent introduction in making fiber concrete. It has very high tensile strength, 1020 Newton per millimeter square to 4080 Newton per millimeter square or megapascal. Glass fiber, which is originally used in conjunction with cement, was found to be affected by alkaline condition of cement. Therefore, alkali resistant glass fiber by trade name Semfil has been developed and used. The alkali resistant fiber reinforced concrete shows considerable improvement in durability when compared to the conventional e-glass fiber. Carbon fibers perhaps possess very high tensile strength, 2110 Newton per millimeter square to 2815 Newton per millimeter square and Young's modulus. It has been reported that cement composite made with carbon fiber as reinforcement will have very high modulus of elasticity and flexural strength. The limited studies have shown good durability. The use of carbon fibers for structures like cladding, panels and shells will have promising future. Now we will see the factors affecting properties of fiber reinforced concrete. Fiber reinforced concrete is the composite material containing fibers in the cement matrix in an orderly manner or randomly distributed manner. Its properties would obviously depend upon the efficient transfer of stress between matrix and the fibers, which is largely dependent on the type of fiber, fiber geometry, fiber content, orientation and distribution of the fibers, mixing and compaction techniques of concrete and size and shape of the aggregate. Now we will see the applications of fiber reinforced concrete. Fiber reinforced concrete is increasingly used on account of the advantages of increased static and dynamic tensile strength. energy absorbing characteristic, and better fatigue strength. The uniform dispersion of fibers throughout the concrete provides isotropic properties not common to conventionally reinforced concrete. Fiber reinforced concrete has been tried on overlays of airfield, road pavement, industrial flooring, bridge decks, canal lining, explosive resistant structure, refractory linings, etc. The fiber reinforced concrete can also be used for the fabrication of precast products like pipes, boats, beams, staircase steps, wall panels, roof panels, manhole covers, etc. Fiber reinforced concrete, sometimes called fibrous concrete, is manufactured under the trade name Winrad concrete. After extensive research, the Winrad concrete is used very extensively in United States. Fiber reinforced concrete is also being tried for the manufacture of prefabricated formwork molds of U-shaped for casting lintels and small beams. So we have seen the fiber reinforced concrete. Now we will see the geopolymer concrete. The geopolymer concrete is an aggregate bound with a polymer binder instead of Portland cement as in conventional concrete. The main technique in producing geopolymer concrete is to minimize wide volume in the aggregate mass so as to reduce the quantity of polymer needed for binding the aggregates. This is achieved by properly grading and mixing the aggregates to attain the maximum density and minimum wide volume. The graded aggregates are prepacked and vibrated in a mold. Monomer is then diffused up through the aggregates and polymerization is initialized by the radiation or chemical means. A saline coupling agent is added to the monomer to improve the bond strength between the polymer and the aggregate. In case polyester resin are used, no polymerization is required. An important reason for the development of this material is the advantage it offers over conventional concrete, where the alkaline Portland cement on curing forms internal voids. Water can be entrapped in these voids, which on freezing can readily crack the concrete. Also, the alkaline Portland cement is easily attacked by chemically aggressive materials, which results in rapid deterioration, whereas polymers can be made compact with minimum voids and are hydrophobic and resistant to chemical attack. The strength obtained with geopolymer concrete can be as high as 140 megapascal with a short curing period. However, such polymer concretes tend to be brittle, and it is reported that dispersion of fiber reinforced would improve the toughness and tensile strength of the material. The use of fibrous polyester concrete (FPC) in the compressive region of reinforced concrete beams provides a high strength ductile concrete at reasonable cost. Also, polyester concrete are viscoelastic in nature and will fail under sustained compressive loading at stress levels greater than 50% of the ultimate strength. Therefore, polyester concrete should be considered for structures with a high ratio of live load to dead load and for composite structures in which the polymer concrete may relax during long-term loading. Experiments conducted on FPC, that is fibrous polyester concrete composite beams, have indicated that they are performance effective when compared to reinforced concrete beams of equal steel reinforcement percentage. Such beams utilize steel in the region of high tensile stresses. Fibrous polyester concrete PC with its favorable compressive behavior in the regions of high compressive stresses and Portland cement concrete in the regions of relatively low flexural stress. So we have seen the geopolymer concrete. Now we will see the ferrocement technique. Ferrocement techniques, though of recent origin, have been extensively used in many countries, notably in UK, New Zealand and China. There is a growing awareness of the advantage of this technique of construction all over the world. It is well known that conventional reinforced concrete members are too heavy, brittle, cannot be satisfactorily repaired if damaged, develop cracks, and reinforcements are liable to be corroded. The above disadvantages of normal concrete make it inefficient for certain types of work. Ferrocement is a relatively new material consisting of wire meshes and cement mortar. This material was developed by P.L. Nervi, an Italian architect and engineer in 1940. It consists of closely spaced wire meshes which are integrated with rich cement mortar mix. The wire mesh is usually of 0.5 mm to 1 mm diameter wire at 5 mm to 10 mm spacing, and the cement mortar is of cement sand ratio of 1:2 or 1:3 with water cement ratio of 0.4 to 0.45. The ferrocement elements are usually of the order of 2 cm to 3 cm in the thickness with 2 mm to 3 mm external cover to the reinforcement. The steel content varies between 300 kg to 500 kg per cubic meter of mortar. The basic idea behind this material is that concrete can undergo large strains in the neighborhood of the reinforcement, and the magnitude of strains depends on the distribution and subdivision of reinforcement throughout of the mass of concrete. Ferrocement is widely accepted in UK, New Zealand and US as a boat building material. It has also found various other interesting civil engineering applications. The main advantages are simplicity of its construction, lesser dead weight of the elements due to their small thickness, its high tensile strength, less crack widths compared to conventional concrete, easy repairability, non-corrosive nature, and easier moldability to any required shape. There is also saving in basic materials, namely cement and sand. This material is more suitable to special structures like shells, which have strength through forms, and structures like roofs, silos, water tanks and pipelines. The material is under active research in various countries, and attempts are being made to give a sound theoretical backing to establish the material behavior. This is a highly suitable material for precast products because of its easy adaptability to prefabrication and lesser dead weight of the unit cast. The development of ferrocement depends on suitable casting techniques for the required shape. Development of proper prefabrication technique for ferrocement is still not a widely explored area, and gap needs to be filled. Now we will see the casting techniques of ferrocement. First is the hand plastering. Second is semi-mechanized process. It is also called by using hand plastering. Third is the centrifuging, and fourth is graniting. First we will see the hand plastering. In this system, first we will see the hand plastering without using any formwork. In this system, a reinforcement cage is made using a smaller diameter steel rod reinforcement bent to the required shape, say cylindrical in shape. Using this frame provides the rigidity for the whole structure before plastering. Then the required number of wire meshes layers are securely tied to the reinforcement cage. The mortar is dashed from outside against a plain curved GI, that is galvanized iron sheet, held on the other side. The flexible curved GI, that is galvanized iron sheet, moved all around and from outside the mortar is dashed. Continuing this procedure, the whole cylindrical tank is built up. Closely spaced wire mesh helps adhering of mortar when dashed. The whole thickness is built up gradually in 2 or 3 consecutive dashing of mortar, and then both inside and outside are rubbed smooth. Hand plastering results in slightly increased thickness of reinforcement member. For thin cylindrical units of about 1 meter diameter, 6 millimeter diameter mild steel rods at 15 centimeter spacing are used to make a cage of cylindrical shape, and then chicken mesh or woven mesh is tied to the cage and plastered. Use of chicken mesh in this type of construction may not be advisable as it is very flexible, and plastering over chicken mesh without liner mold may not be satisfactory. Woven mesh and welded mesh are superior and more suitable than chicken mesh. In this method, the control of thickness is difficult and the minimum thickness of the section that can be cast works out to about 2 cm. Because of laser control, the thickness of units cast by this method becomes more. The greater thickness not only makes it uneconomical but also makes it lose some of the technical advantages. The strength obtained by this system will be lower compared to other methods as the compaction is by hand, and since no inner form or mold is used, the hand pressure applied is relatively less. Less pressure is required to be applied to prevent the distortion of the shape of the cage. However, the units can be cast by this process and used in situations where the facilities of other improved methods do not exist. These units can be used for pipes, storage structures, and gas holders units. This type of casting suits cylindrical units of size approximately 60 cm in diameter and above, and also for other irregular shapes for which mold is difficult to make. It is advisable to give a waterproof coating on the surfaces as hand plastering is unlike to result in a watertight structure. So we have seen the first ferrocement technique, casting technique, that is hand plastering. Now we will see the second semi-mechanized process using hand plastering. A semi-mechanized process has been developed at SERC, that is Structural Engineering Research Center at Roorkee, for casting thin ferrocement cylindrical units. In this system, an inner cylindrical mold is provided over which one layer of wire mesh is wound. Over this layer, 4 mm wire is tied at a spacing of 15 cm in both the directions. Over this, one more layer of chicken wire mesh is wound. This forms the complete wire mesh system of reinforcement. The cement plastering is then done layer by layer. As the mesh is tightly wound round the formwork, the thickness of unit is reduced. With this system, units with thickness up to a minimum of 1 cm can be cast containing 2 layers of wire mesh in that thickness. This system is termed as semi-mechanized because the mold can be rotated to facilitate dashing of mortar. This system is better than earlier system as better compaction could be obtained by means of a straight edge pressed against inner mold. The uniformity of thickness obtained in this system is also better than of the earlier system. The wire mesh can be tightly wound over the mold and can be tightened during the casting process. This helps in avoiding any looseness in the mesh and uneven thickness. The advantages of this system are that it does not require any sophisticated equipment or electricity. The skill can be easily acquired by local people and it can be adapted at rural areas with ease. This system is convenient for cylindrical units of size about 1 meter and above. This system can be further improved by mechanizing the rotation of mold and using a spray technique for mortar application. This requires synchronization between the speed of the mold and the rate of spray. Mortar spray guns of lower pressure of application of mortar than the gunite equipment may be better suited for this purpose. So we have seen the second casting technique of ferrocement, that is semi-mechanized process using hand plastering. Now we will see the third casting technique of ferrocement, that is centrifuging. The centrifuging process is commonly adopted for the fabrication of concrete cylindrical units. Because of the high first crack strength of ferrocement compared to reinforced concrete, the pipe thickness can be reduced, thus resulting in lesser dead weight. In the existing centrifuging process, the mild steel reinforcing cage is replaced by wire mesh layers cage. The trial casting of pipes by centrifuging done at SERC, that is Structural Engineering Research Center, Roorkee, has indicated that this method could well be adapted for casting ferrocement units. Because of good compaction, the ferrocement pipe cast by centrifuging can be used as pressure pipes. So we have seen the third casting technique of ferrocement, that is centrifuging. Now we will see the fourth ferrocement casting technique, that is gniting. The process of gniting can be adapted for applying the mortar to the wire mesh system. This process applied properly with experienced gunman can give good compact and uniform surface. This appears to be suitable process for mass production of ferrocement prefabricated units. A continuous process of layer gniting with an interval of about an hour will yield good results. So we have seen the fourth gniting technique, that is the casting technique of ferrocement. So we have seen the ferrocement technique of casting technique. The first is hand plastering, second is semi-mechanized process by hand plastering, third is centrifuging, and fourth is gniting. So we have seen the ferrocement technique. So we have seen high strength density, fiber reinforced concrete, geopolymer concrete, and ferrocement technique. These are the YouTube links available on YouTube. First is what is high density concrete, what is heavyweight concrete, types of concrete, number 6. Next YouTube link, special concrete, high strength concrete. Next YouTube link, module 1, lecture 15, high strength concrete. Next YouTube link, what is fiber reinforced concrete, module 1, lecture 14, fiber reinforced concrete. Post peak response and fiber reinforced concrete, Sika fiber reinforced concrete. Next YouTube link, steel fiber concrete reinforcement, how does it work? Testing of fiber reinforced concrete for structural design by Professor Ravindra Gettu, IIT Madras. Basalt fiber, rebar and other application, Rockstar Materials. Next YouTube link, fiber reinforced concrete. Steel fiber concrete reinforcement, the process of steel fiber into the concrete. MOOC FRC 1.3, fiber reinforced concrete for structural applications. Next YouTube link, MOOC FRC, fiber reinforcing concrete manufacturing. Jointless floors, steel fiber reinforced concrete in the US webinar. Basic principles and best practices of steel fiber reinforced concrete webinar. Next YouTube link, what is polymer concrete? Types of polymer concrete. Types of concrete number 9. Geopolymer cement in Hindi. Geopolymer cement in English. Webinar on geopolymer concrete by Dr. Radhakrishnan. Next YouTube link, Geopolymer, a concrete foundation for a sustainable future. Rosin ID, TEDx Fulbright, Dublin. Next YouTube link, Ramco's webinar about mixed design methodology for fly ash and GGBS based geopolymer concrete. Geopolymer concrete from lab to industry. Next YouTube link, Geopolymer concrete, a next generation material. State of the geopolymer R&D 2020. Geopolymer concrete and overview. D5S2 geopolymer concrete and its application in construction. Next YouTube link, D5S1 development of geopolymer concrete composites by Professor P. Dinkar, IIT Bhubaneswar. Webinar on concrete engineering and technology, geopolymer concrete, 5th session. First part, production of geopolymer concrete. Second part, microstructure of fly ash blended cement. Application of geopolymer concrete in construction by Mohammad Rizur Rahman. Next YouTube link, geopolymer concrete by KMUTT ITCE 55. Geopolymer ecological cement mixing. Special concretes, concrete and sustainability. Next YouTube link, demo ferrocement construction, how to make ferrocement, ferrocemento. Ferrocement concrete technology, precast ferrocement, Jhatpat house of assembly in a day. Ramco's webinar about ferrocement and its application to construction industry. Reliance Foundation, how to create ferrocement water tanks. Ferrocement arch dam ferrocement fercement. How to build a ferrocement water tank. Ferrocement by Dr. Raktipong Shamtimongkol. Next YouTube link, philosophy of ferrocement, ferrocrete, ferrocemento. First design book on ferrocement by Dr. B.N. Divekar. Production process, ferrocement wall panel. B.V. Bhedasgaonkar, part 1. Next YouTube link, woman builds ferrocement how. What is ferrocement? Ferrocement check dam near Nanded. Next YouTube link, applications of ferrocement technology. Ferro Talk, episode 1, Rajendra Pawar. So we have seen the part B, special concretes. In that we have seen high density concrete, fiber reinforced concrete, geopolymer concrete and ferrocement technique. So this is the syllabus of unit 5. The title is concreting equipment, techniques and special concrete. It has part A, concreting equipments and technique, which includes batching plant, concrete mixers, hauling, pumps, concrete vibrators and compaction techniques, special concreting techniques, ready mix concrete, underwater concreting, roller compacted concrete, cold and hot weather concreting. It also includes part B, special concrete. It includes lightweight concrete and its types, foam concrete, no fines concrete, self-compacting concrete, high density concrete, fiber reinforced concrete, geopolymer concrete, and ferrocement technique. Thank you all students.